remember first discovering that I could stay up after my wife and my son went to bed and finally have time to just relax by myself. Now, fatherhood is the most amazing thing, at least it is in my life. And it's also a fact that it changed everything for me. It's a drastic change in the way that I spent my time, and that's how it usually is for most people who are fathers. I went from having several hours a day to pursue personal projects, things that I just like doing, to practically zero. And it became very tempting to stay up later after my family went to bed to just have some me time. And this is very common. I quickly realized there's a trade-off with this. And there's sort of two parts to this. Number one is just the lack of sleep. That's caused a lot of problems for me, staying up later. And number two was just the nature of the habits and the activities I was doing after my family went to bed. Because it's the end of the day, maybe I had a long day, no, probably did for a long period of time. Stressed, wanting to unwind. I found myself eating a lot of food right before bed. I found myself scrolling on social media. Just easy things to just unwind and just distract myself from the stress and responsibility of my life. Now the start to figuring out how to deal with this stress of responsibility and just day-to-day life, being a dad and a provider for a family, started by identifying, for me, excuses that I was telling myself. So one of these was, this is just a rough time. And when I first had my kid, this is what I told myself. Starting off, we had different challenges. Every baby's different. My wife had difficulty breastfeeding, and that's not her fault. But this also put an extra burden on me. And I thought, okay, this will come to an end. I'll have more time. I'll take care of my bad habits later. I can lean on these right now. It's nothing to worry about. But then more and more things just keep coming up. Our son needed a helmet. He's teething. People get sick. Things break. It seems like there's just always something that puts a burden on us. And that's always an excuse for me to eat more food at night, to scroll on social media, and just relax, telling myself that, I sort of deserve this. And I can look forward to changing these things later when things calm down. I saw this quote somewhere that adulting is when you say next week or after this week things will calm down. And of course they never do. To this day I still am just flabbergasted by this. I have all these tasks maybe on my calendar and I complete a ton of them in one day, and I'm like, wow, I'm gonna have days open. I'm gonna be able to actually work on personal things that I enjoy. But then the next day comes, the next week, and there's just always something else. And so if you look back at your life, is there a period of time where you felt like things were just calm since you had children? For me, there has not been. And so there's always this chaos, if you will. And once again, I love being a dad, love my son, spending time with him. But there is always that chaos. And there's always that feeling at the end of the day, needing relief, needing a release of pressure. And so I noticed this pattern in myself where life is chaotic, of course. And at the end of the day comes, I feel like I've done a good job. I feel like I've earned some sort of release, pressure, some relief. I turn to the easiest thing, which for me is just sugary sweets, processed foods, or just scrolling on social media. Maybe for you it's some other behavior or substance, and then that creates more problems, more chaos. For me, it hurts my sleep, prevents me from exercising the next day, prevents me from being there to support my family emotionally, which just makes things worse, which then just leads me to doing these bad habits even more. Okay, so what do we do about this? Well, what I did is I took a look at this pattern that I recognized and thought about, okay, where do I have any control over this? So if we look at the start, life is chaotic. That's just a fact. That's not going to get better until I take care of these habits, okay? So what's the next part? It's what I'm telling myself. It's the thought that's leading to the behaviors. And one of those thoughts was, I've earned this, and this is just a short period of time. This is a rough season of life, and maybe it will come to an end, but probably not anytime soon. So if I thought about this idea, like, I've earned some relief, it actually started to be kind of confusing, because what have I earned? I've earned more chaos, I've earned more suffering the next day, I've earned less emotional stability, poorer sleep. No, all I've earned is, maybe 15 minutes of relief. Like, that's really, I deserve more than that, right? We deserve more than that. We work all day. It's not fair to punish ourselves, really, the whole next day and in the future by engaging in these habits. And so once I realized that I wasn't rewarding myself with time alone at night, eating or scrolling, I was actually punishing myself, causing more problems. Because if we think about the I in this statement, like, I've earned this, who is I? Is it me in this moment? Is it me in the future? Well, that might be a better way to look at it, because these things that I'm engaging in right now aren't just affecting me right now, but they're affecting me at the very least tomorrow, the entire day, but even beyond that. So I realized what I actually have earned from a day of hard work, taking care of my family, going to my 9 to 5, so I've earned a better tomorrow. So how do I give myself a better tomorrow? I don't engage in these habits that are going to make tomorrow harder. And how do I do that? I want to give you just one tool to think about, and it's called playing the tape through to the end. And so this is when you have a craving, when it's late at night, when you want to, for me, eating food that I know it's going to cause problems, or just scrolling mindlessly, I think about what's actually going to happen from this. How am I going to be affected the next day? Problems I know it's going to cause, the chaos that will ensue. Once I envision that, I get more power in that moment. And then I can begin to figure out, okay, how can I actually get relief? And most of the time that brings me relief, just knowing that I'm going to have a better tomorrow. I'm going to be more capable of solving the problems that are going to actually reduce the chaos in my life. Now this is just one reframe I want to give you. If you're wanting more guidance and help as you're changing your habits, I would love to chat with you. You can click the link in the description. But I will be making lots of more videos on this exact topic, so if you're interested in that, please subscribe. But otherwise, I will see you in the next video.